Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today in this webinar with Emerhub. My name is Veronique. I'm a property consultant from Emerhub, and today we're gonna discussing about the future of property investment in Indonesia. Please leave a comment if you have any question. Yeah, and I'm gonna read it after the presentation and try to answer your question. So let's start the presentation. I'll share it with you. So yeah, why is Indonesia? When we talk about Indonesia, of course, there's a lot of growth that happened for the past years in Indonesia, and especially after what happened from the G20. Yeah, the study even from World Bank and Price Waterhouse about Indonesia, the projection it will be Indonesia by the economic situations Indonesia will reach at least top five on 2023 in terms of the world's top five economies. Okay, and even the president Jokowi, right now, the president of Indonesia right now, has done a lot in terms of improving the infrastructure and everything that's going on in Indonesia in terms of special economic zones and then also new city development. He's been spent over 100 billions to improve to develop the country itself, right? And then when we look on the numbers of people here in Indonesia, there's about 270 million and it will become 300 million within 2030. It's geographically strategic growth center in the Asian region, which is it will push further Indonesian to be better and then definitely gonna be in the top five position. Okay, and then when we look on the challenges, so people always think, what's the challenges of investing in Indonesia? The first, definitely, it will be government and bureaucracy because when you want to enter the market in Indonesia, there's a lot of bureaucracy that you have to pass, right? And understanding how to deal with the Indonesian government. And the next challenge is infrastructure. When we look at the infrastructure, it's definitely different than for if you compare with the Western country, okay? So yeah, give me a second. So okay, so sorry, there's some kind of error right now. So I'm gonna continue. Yeah, the next thing it will be infrastructure. That most of the time become the challenges in Indonesia when you want to have an investment here. So the infrastructure itself, it's not as developed as in the Western country. Like example for transportation, logistic, and all other things, right? And then geographical challenge because as everyone know, Indonesian is like separated with few different, like really a lot of islands, right? So it's really make the difficulties for the government also to make sure like all the area in Bali gonna have the same quality or the same way in terms of processing the low regulations for assisting the foreigner to have investment in Indonesia. Because sometimes, example, when you're in Jakarta, you want to process your investment there, you want to have your company there. People in Jakarta, government in Jakarta, they're more aware about the regulation, the process, because they've done it so many times. But when you want to start your investment, if you want to have your investment in the east of Indonesia, like maybe Papua or east, like Manado or Ambon. So on that area, because they don't have so much investment from foreigner, the government, there's a big possibility the government not really familiar with the process, how it will involve for the foreign investment company. So yeah, that's geographical challenge. And the next thing to look at will be the human resources, because when it comes to human resources, what you're expecting to have in Indonesia usually not gonna be similar like the one that you're gonna have in the Western country, because of course first education and then language barrier, it's also become part of it, and also their skills, because of course when we look back about the education, it will affect the skills as well. So this is also the challenge when the foreigner having like investment in Indonesia. They most of the time they have to lower their standard when it comes to the human resources. The next thing is foreign ownership restrictions. Again, I think it's everywhere around the world. When you are a foreigner, it's not be as easy as you are in your home country, right? So when you come as a foreigner in Indonesia, you just have to face like all the restriction that you cannot have this and that, you cannot do this type of business. It's very strict in Indonesia in terms of business type that you can do or type of property that you can purchase. So this has become the challenge for foreigner to invest in Indonesia. This is the top five that you should learn more and find out how to solve any challenge when you want to enter the investment market, when you want to start your investment in Indonesia. So here's, before we move forward, we go further, I would like to inform you guys a little bit, maybe some of you already knows about Emerhub services, but in here, I will explain a little bit, okay, about the company itself, where I work right now. So who we are, Emerhub is a leading market entry consulting firm in Asia with a network of more than 6 offices in 4 countries across Asia Pacific. So our main business, our main service is business expansion and company setup and corporate secretary, visa and permits, and the other things is property investment. So we provide everything, yeah, all types of services that you need when you want to enter investment, when you want to enter opening your company in Indonesia. So any type of businesses, we can help you. And then when you need to assistant to find a property, also we can assist you. So related to the property investment service here, this is some of the services that we are offering for our clients, which is first is market study and research. And we are doing a comprehensive analysis and identify the investment opportunity. So for this case example, you're just come into Indonesia and you have some idea, but not that specific. You don't understand the market, the situation, what is the market price, and then you come to us, we help you to analyze the market for you. So you can have a proper structured business plan before you really start opening the company and do anything else. So make sure that you have everything in the proper planning. Okay, so that's what we are doing, market study and research. And the next thing is the property screening. So for property screening, this is specifically when you want to invest in the property business. Example, you want to buy land, or you want to buy a hotel, or you want to buy a villa complex, anything that related to the property business. So you have no example, you don't have any connection, we can provide you to connect with the owners of the land, with the owner of hotel that already vetted by our company. Okay, so you can get the best deal from us, because in here, when we are doing a property screening, we are not a real estate agent. So we're not taking any fee as well from the seller. So definitely the price will be much better if you compare with the market price, because the seller doesn't have to provide us any fee. Okay, so for this property screening part, when you give that to us, definitely we're gonna give you the list, which the best option that you can get, the best offer that you can get from the market, due to that we're not taking any fee from the seller. And then the next thing that we can assist you is negotiation part, because of course, every time people want to purchase a property, they're not directly like say yes to the offering price from the owner. And then we can assist you. So we assist in terms of negotiation, and we when we negotiate with the owner, we look into the market price, what it makes sense, and we look also the standard price from the government. So that's part of our negotiation. Okay. And then the next thing is a due diligence, which is for this part, we are actually assisting to check the titles of the property, okay, land certificate, and then tax payment, zoning. So this part is on the due diligence side. And the next thing is gonna be document drafting. For document drafting, it's a professional drafting that we provide for any type of document. It's from your property, from your intention to purchase the property, and then example, if you wanna have document drafting for your lease agreement, so this is part of the document drafting. And then the next thing, it will be a purchase assistant. So for the purchase assistant, this is the process from the beginning until the end of the of your transaction in the notary. Because again, we're in Indonesia, maybe you're gonna have a transaction somewhere in the east of Indonesia where the notary doesn't really speak English. So you will need somebody to give you a proper translation in terms of communication. So yeah, for this purchase assistant specifically, we dedicated to help our client to fully understand what conversation that they have with the seller and also with the notary itself. So that's the purchase assistant. The next thing, it will be licensing. So for this licensing, this is related for any permits, because when you want to have a building example, you buy a land and you need to apply for your building permit. So we can assist you with that as well. And then the last thing is project management. When it comes to project management, this is the part when the construction is already start. So we're gonna assist you to check the property, yeah, frequently give you an update during the construction project, or also reviewing your contract with the developer, with the contractor, with the architect. So that kind of thing, that's part of the project management. So now I'm gonna continue with the service, how to start with Emerhub property investment service. Okay, so first, it's definitely initial consultation with me. Usually when it's come to a property, the consultation will be with me, because I'm the property consultant right now in Emerhub. And then during these consultations, you can share any idea that you want to bring for your investment, and anything that you need. Just share with me if you have any questions related to the property ownership or related to the market. You can just ask me during this consultation, and we can finally understand what type of service that you need from Emerhub. And then the next thing after the consultation, we will know that do you need our service for the property shortlisting, this is gonna be part of the property screening. okay? Or you already have property, because sometimes after the consultation, you actually already have the property that you want to buy. You only need our service in terms of the legal side, right? To do a due diligence or document drafting or reviewing your lease agreement. So this is gonna be property shortlisting and property assessment. We will know which one that you're gonna take after the consultation. So after that, example, you want to purchase the property that you already have, or either you look for you want us also finding the property for you. The next step, it will be a detailed reporting, which is this is part of due diligence. Okay, so either way, either you choose to find the property to us or you already find it. The next process is will be the legal side, the legal check, which is due diligence. This is the part of detailed reporting. Okay, so we're gonna provide you detailed information about the specific property that you're gonna purchase, and make sure everything is protected from your side. And then we always giving you like an information. So this report, it's gonna help you to decide either you want to move forward with transaction or you decided to change or find another property, because from the report we're gonna give you like rate. If there's any red note, then there's gonna be a red note with also some solution from our side. So when we give a red note, which is it's not good to purchase, but we also have a solution like if the owner willing to do this, and then maybe we can consider to purchase it, or even not at all. Like on that note, we're gonna give you like it's not possible, it's totally not possible. And then also there's a yellow part where it can be, it cannot be also, and then the green, when everything is in green, and means you can definitely go ahead with the transaction. There's no issue, nothing to worry, and you can just purchase that property. So that's part of our detailed reporting. And then, of course, after that detailed reporting, when you decided to go ahead, there's gonna be a contract signing, and then in this contract signing, our service will be purchase assistant, where you're gonna go to the notary, signing the document in front of the notary together with the seller, and then and then after that, the process will be waiting for the document, the legal document, to be transferred to your name. It usually takes like roughly a month or 2 months. The process of transferring the ownership from the previous owner to the buyer, from the seller to the buyer. Okay, so continue to the next slide. Okay, so I'm gonna give a little bit of information about property ownership and leasehold. It's supposed to be a property ownership in Indonesia. Okay, so I have the details like how it works with the foreigners, Indonesian, foreign individual with a kitas or kita. I have separated with PT local, PMA, representative office, and Palibiji. So I separate the ownership between the freehold, which is hak milik, and then right to build, which is hak guna bangunan, right to use hak pakai, and then there's also for strata title, which is it's usually for an apartment. Okay, in this table, it's actually explaining that for the freehold property, it's only for the local. So foreigner are not able to own it. But you can purchase it. Okay, so for these things, to make it clear, okay, so you as a foreigner, you can buy a freehold property from the Indonesians, but later the title in the certificate will be switched, become right to use, because that's the law in Indonesia. So as a foreigner, you can own right to use if you buy it under your name, not under a company. Example, if you buy it under a company, you build a company and you purchase under your company, the title you buy a freehold property, the title will be switched from hak milik to right to build, from the freehold to right to build. So when people ask me a question, can a foreigner buy a freehold property? Yes, you can buy. As a foreigner, you can buy a freehold property, but the title will be switched. Okay, so this is most of the time people misunderstood that most of the time they think they're not able to buy a freehold. But in the real case, you can buy a freehold, but the title will be switched from freehold, hak milik, to the right to use or right to build. Depends how you purchase it. So this is what we need to have same understanding. So everyone can understand, like all the foreigner actually can purchase the freehold. Okay. And when you have a company, you can purchase it. Just the title will be right to build. Individual will be right to use. And the same with an apartment. Free foreigner can buy the apartment under individual name as well. Okay. And in terms of right to build and right to use, there is like a limitation of ownership. It's in total will be 80 years. And the most question that I get from my client is actually they're always asking me, so Caroline, what happened after the 80 years? Is it gonna go to the government or where? What's gonna happen with my property? So this is kind of it's a challenge as well. I mean, it's part of the challenge that I explained earlier. But Indonesia changed the regulation quite often. Yeah. So even the government don't want to make any statement what's gonna happen after 80 years. So what they keep like what they put in law only for maximum 80 years because um, they understand that their government will change the law. And so far, if we look back, yeah, for the last 5-10 years, if you look back in terms of ownership for foreigner, the regulation in the beginning, foreigner only allowed to purchase a freehold property to a company, right? And then after, okay, freehold foreigner can purchase a freehold when they have a residential permit. And now the recent regulation that just come up on 2021, that actually foreigner able to purchase the freehold property with their passport and their visa. So there's evolving in terms of the regulation. So this is why also they don't want to make, the government doesn't want to make strict rule like it's gonna be forever or anything. They just keep it for 80 years and they want to be open with any adjustment on the law and regulation about the property ownership. So the next question usually gonna come from my client. So what should I do then after the 80 years? What you have to do is just wait later in 80 years, see what's the regulation on that year, like at least like 10 years before, see what's the update regulation from the government. Because right now, even if we go to the government, they cannot give you any answer about what's going to happen in the next 80 years. But there's also another solution that comes usually if it's already close to the 80 years, or maybe if you own the property already about 30 or 20 years, or 50 years, 60 years, you can just sell it to the local, back to the Indonesian, because when you sell it, example, you have right to use or right to build, you resell it to the Indonesian, they can switch back again, they can upgrade again the title back to the freehold title. Okay, so that's why it's still a freehold transaction, because when you resell it to the local, the Indonesian, you can switch it back to the freehold title, and then your issue will be finished. Okay, so next thing is benefit and limitation. So this is actually I have it before about the benefit and the limitation of having the freehold property. So, of course, when you have a freehold property, you can inherit it to your kids or your next generation, and you can use it as a debt collateral. And then also it's transferable between Indonesian foreigner or a company. It's pretty simple. And then here's a little bit of the process, the transaction process when you buy a freehold property in Indonesia. So right now, as an individual, you can purchase the property in Indonesia as a foreigner only by using your passport or your visa. Or even it's better if you already have a kitas, then you can purchase it with the kitas. But if not, then right now you can use it with your passport and visa. But there's one thing that you have to understand for this requirement. When you want to purchase under individual name, not under a company, first thing, you only can purchase landed house, okay, or apartment. You cannot purchase land, okay? So when you are thinking, okay, I want to have my investments, like I want to buy land as my investment, then there's no way for you to use your passport or your visa or even your kita. The only way is having a company in Indonesia, and then you can purchase that land under the company name. Okay, so this only applicable when you want to purchase landed house and you want to purchase an apartment, and the purpose will be for living. So you're not allowed to use this property for business later on. But if you're like thinking to have more than one, also not allowed, because with a landed house, you're only allowed to have one property. So not able to own more than one property with this process. Okay, you can buy more than one property when you purchase the freehold property through your company, or you can also buy the land through your company. Okay. So the next step, it will be purchase order agreement in the notary. So this is the normal transaction, either you buy freehold or leasehold. The process in Indonesia, when you purchase something, you have to go through notary. Okay, so the person who's gonna legalize your documentation later in Indonesia, it will be the notary. And then the next thing, it will be sales and purchase deed with the paid tax by both parties. Okay, so when you purchase a freehold property in Indonesia, there will be tax involved. As a buyer, you have to pay 5% tax. That's the part from the buyers. Okay, so the next thing, it will be process of certification by the notary. Yeah, which is in this part. So after you sign your deed, after you complete your payment, so you have to pay all full payment. Once the full payment is complete, and then the notary will process the transfer of ownership on the certificate. So they're gonna process it to the National Land Office, which is, it will be for the landed house will be conversion from the freehold, from the freehold title to the right to use title. Or from example, you buy it from a developer. So usually when you buy from the developer, the title will be right to build. Okay, so the notary can assist you to convert this from right to build to right to use. And then for the apartment, it will remain the same. It's gonna be a strata title. And the next thing, it will be the transaction through the company. So this is the part where most foreigner, when they want to buy a freehold property and they want to use the freehold property for business purpose, and the direction will be having the property under the company. Okay, because again, when you want to do business in here, you cannot do it under your own name. You need to have a proper company, and then you can purchase the property, the freehold property, through your company. Okay, so for the company, the process actually not much different when you purchase by individual. The difference will be, of course, the purchase will be through your director, the director of the company. Some people, they're like some foreigner, they become the director on their own company as well, right? So example, you're the director as well in your own company, and then you have to provide your kita. It is a must. So you cannot just provide your passport or visa. It's a must that you provide your kitas and also the corporate legal document like the deed about the company establishment, the tax number of the company, and all other documents that listed need to be provided by the company when they want to purchase the property. And then the next step, it will be the same like purchase order and agreement in the notary, and also sales and purchase deed plus paid taxes by the company. The tax will be the same. It's still 5% for the buyer. So it's not different. You purchase it under your own name or under your company. The buyer tax will remain the same 5%. It's a final tax for a property purchase. And then the same process is conversion the certificate. So when it's a company who purchased the property, the title will be switched directly to right to build, no matter it's a land or already a finished villa. Anything will be processed to will be converted to the right to build. Okay, so here's I give a little bit of market trend about few area. I'm not like really give full of Indonesia. So I bring three specific location: Jakarta, Bali, and Lombok. Why I bring this? So Jakarta is the capital, okay, and Bali, of course, everybody know that Bali is #1 tourist destination in Asia, not only for Indonesia but all over Asia. And then the next thing is Lombok. It's the next place where people right now interested to know, right? The information about this area about because this is like people call it the next Bali. The government planned it to be the next Bali, the next destination after Bali. So when tourists come to Indonesia, they're gonna go to Lombok. Not only Bali, but they're gonna move their destination to Lombok instead. They have their holiday in Lombok. That's why I bring these three locations. So when we look on the market of Jakarta, for example, Jakarta more into it's a business area. Okay, so foreigner who come to here, like they're gonna look for either their long-term residential place, like for their home, or maybe their staff houses, and then their offices, and also maybe their storage or their factory. So this is more into the trend, the market trend in Jakarta because it's a metropolis city, right? The main business, all the head office when they have offices in Indonesia, they're gonna open their head office in Jakarta. Most of the company. So that's the trend of Jakarta. Bali, it's different thing. Bali more for the tourism, right? So people when they open their company or having their property investment in Bali, it's always related to accommodation. So it's gonna be for short-term rental. And now the market is increased as well for the long-term residents. So they are thinking to live in here because they understand, oh, actually it's nice to live in Bali as well, not only for short-term holidays. So this has become the market for Bali at the moment. And if we compare between Jakarta and Bali, in terms of the quality of the property, we can say you will easily find any high-end luxury property in Jakarta, but not in Bali. So right now, it's a growing supply. Yeah, a lot of developer now in Bali, they're trying to create this kind of property to offer a lot of luxury high-end property. So if you look into the market right now, a lot of developer selling this kind of offline project with the design and concept of modern high quality building, which is not much available. If you look on the finishing example, you're in the market right now and you try to search for a ready villa that have a modern or high-end facility. Definitely not much available. Maybe most of them leasehold, not a freehold. So that's what the developers see. A lot of foreigner now, because there's a possibility to buy a freehold property. So the developers start building more options, try to supply more of a high-end property. And then also the trend right now in Bali, it's a lot of tourists coming to Bali within a high budget. So they're looking for high-end accommodation, luxury accommodation. Sorry. So the last location that we're gonna talk about, it will be Lombok. So when we talk about Lombok, as Lombok is just like I can say recently developed because they just recently have Formula One, yeah, for sorry, the the circuit, okay, and Lombok, it's become well known right now, right? People start thinking to have investment over there. They already have international airport. There's not so many destinations right now, but they already have international airport. And then they also actually in terms of nature, they have a lot to offer. Okay, they're like really a nice small island, similar to Bali. So right now the direction, because of course the price in Bali it's kind of already on the peak price of the property. So a lot of foreigner, they're thinking to, especially with the one who doesn't have so much budget to invest, they're gonna look into Lombok market because there's still a lot of people want to go there for a holiday. Yeah, and not many accommodation good quality, especially Western standard. Definitely not, because if you look, example Airbnb or Booking.com, it's very small numbers of property with a good quality over there that offering you like really good services and everything. So yeah, the potential to grow in Lombok will be much more compared to Bali. Price of the property much cheaper. Bali, Jakarta, the property price I can say already very high. Yeah, it's already on the peak price compared to Lombok area. So Lombok still have a potential to grow a lot more compared to Jakarta and Bali. The tourism also, there's still a possibility to grow. And then the competition, definitely not as much as in Jakarta or in Bali, because as you know, in Bali there's already a lot. Because this accommodation development already happened like 20 years ago, even the first time. So Lombok, I can say it's the same. Lombok right now, it's the same when you compare Bali 20 years ago. So when you want to invest in Lombok, you can expecting to have the same situation like Bali right now, but 20 years later. Okay, so here's, I would like to show you guys as well some market performance that I take it from AirDNA. So from here you can see this is related to the holiday rental. It will suffice you. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, Jakarta, it's the area where you want to invest in terms of property. So it's gonna be for either long-term property, long-term residential, or offices, or also as industrial complex and stuff like that. So when we look into the short-term rental, the market is very low, yeah, in compared to Bali and Lombok. Even Lombok as a new destination, this area have more number in terms of revenue compared to Jakarta holiday rental. So when you're thinking, okay, I would like to make my investment for holiday rental, for short-term rental, I would not suggest you to invest in Jakarta, okay? But it will be in Bali or in Lombok because their revenue much higher. I'll show you the revenue, like the performance for Bali and Lombok after this. So here you can see the average revenue is about 100 million, yeah, for Jakarta. It's been increased for the last 3 years, and when we talk about the in terms of entire place, house or apartment, they're offering the same numbers. Okay, and the next slide I'm gonna show you of Bali, so you can see the difference between Bali and Jakarta. You see in here the numbers of average revenue, it's 700 million. So you see the difference, right? So when you are thinking to invest in property for long-term rental, example, you buy an apartment and you're planning to renting it out for monthly or yearly, that will be suitable in Jakarta, not for daily rental, because the revenue that you're gonna get not as much as in Bali. So when you're thinking to do daily rental, just do it in Bali. Okay, and the next thing, let me show you for Lombok. So Lombok itself, it's new area for tourist destination in Indonesia, but the revenue for holiday rental is already generated for almost 500 million a year. If you own a one property, okay, when you own a one property in Lombok, same like in Jakarta, within the same amount of money, okay, example, you buy 2 billion in Jakarta, 2 billion in Bali, and 2 billion in Lombok, within the same price range, the revenue that you're gonna get, it's gonna be much better in Lombok in terms of short-term rental. So if you're doing long-term rental, this is different story, because not many people are gonna live for a month or a year in Lombok. So this performance I just show you for the short-term condition. Okay, so when you're thinking to do long-term business, and then your selection, it will be in Jakarta or Bali. But when it comes to short-term rental, then you can choose between Bali or Lombok. So yeah, and now I'm gonna show you a little bit of the new destination, yeah, of investment in Indonesia. So this is 10th area that Indonesian government will develop in terms of tourism. So if you're thinking right now, you're planning to have your investment in Indonesia for short-term rental. So this is the area that you can think about. Yeah, this is the area where the government start to develop the infrastructure, the economic situation, and yeah, to support the tourism. So within this area, you still have the possibility to get the best value of your property. So example like Labuan Bajo, maybe some of you already heard about it, and it has a very beautiful nature and landscaping, and also they have one island that's very famous. It's the Dragon Island, Komodo Dragon Islands, which is become their icon from Labuan Bajo. And other than Labuan Bajo, actually there's another area, example like Lake Toba, Tanjung Bayang, Borobudur. This is actually a tourist destination that already available in Indonesia for a long time. It's just the government hasn't really paid attention so much in the beginning. But right now, the Indonesian government focus on developing this area where you can also concentrate to invest, right? So this is, I think, my end of my presentation. So here's a little bit of the information, how the focus of the government in terms of tourism development. So the next target from the Indonesian government for promoting Indonesia globally will be to China, India, Middle East, Europe. And the target will be to reach 20 million tourists arrive in Indonesia by this year. That's why they're not promoting only Bali, because when 20 million tourists arrive in Bali within 1 year, that's overload. So they spread the destination to all other area in Indonesia to achieve that numbers. Okay. So yeah, here's I'm gonna answer some of the frequently asked questions from our clients usually. Yeah. First, actually, I already mentioned it earlier on the webinar when it's just start. Can foreigner buy freehold property in Indonesia? Yes, you can buy the freehold property. The title later will be switched. Depends how you're gonna purchase it. Is it through individual, yourself, I mean, or through a company. The title will be switched, depends on them. So if you buy it under your own name, then the title will be switched from the freehold to the right to use. And when you purchase it under your company, the title will be switched from the freehold to right to build. Okay. And the next question that frequently asked, do I get a residential permit by owning property in Indonesia? Luckily now, the government just launched, actually, it was December last year. Indonesian government launched second home visa, which is through having a property, freehold property. Now you're gonna have the possibility to get the second home visa, which is you're gonna have residential permit in Indonesia. So this is related with the purpose of your use, the purpose of the property, what you want to use, okay? Because the second home visa is something related to your residential in Indonesia without working in Indonesia. So you still get an income from abroad, but you live in Indonesia. So once you have a property in Indonesia, you purchase already and you use this property only for living, not for business, okay? This is very important. So your house only for resident, and then you can use that certificate of your house to apply for the second home visa. But there's a minimum, like the value of your property. So right now, the value is 1 million US dollars. So your property needs to, the value of your property has to be 1 million US dollar, and then you can use it to apply your second home visa. And what is the next question is, what is the return on investment from rental property in Indonesia? So when we talk about return, the common rental from rental property in Indonesia, okay, we look at Bali first, and then next Lombok. Okay, I'm not gonna put it the same like for other area. Okay, because the sample before was Jakarta, Bali, and Lombok. So Jakarta, not the rental property for that's the rental property for long term, and for Bali, Lombok will be for the short term. So when we talk about Bali, the common return will be between 10% to 15% annually. Okay, this is the most common. You don't even have to do like a spatial marketing or anything. Your property will definitely generate 10% to 15%. If you want to generate more, it's possible. You just have to do a little bit extra work. You have to think about anything like marketing, and you put extra budget on the marketing to make sure that your property stand out. And then you work on the number to get the 20% or any return that you want. Okay, but when we talk about Lombok, the returns usually is about 10%. Okay, it's much less because you can even see the revenue in Bali before when I show you the average revenue about 700 million, but in Lombok it's about 500 million. So when we talk about that, we already can calculate that it will be roughly, you can get between 8 to 10% in Lombok. Okay. Next is, where is the best location to buy property for investment in Indonesia? It actually depends on what you want to do. I have explained to you for 3 places: Jakarta, Bali, and Lombok. So it's gonna be depends what your plan. Is it gonna be for long-term rental, or is it gonna be a commercial space, industrial area, or or short-term rental? So when you're thinking about short-term rental, of course, Bali is still number 1, the best location to invest. But when you are thinking for residential purpose, and then you can consider to invest in Jakarta. Okay, so I have shared the frequently asked question. Now I'm gonna see what question that we have from our attendants. So We have some question here. Let me check. Okay. Let's put it up on the screen. What is the best area to invest property in Bali? Yes, it's from Sri Wahyuni Sugianto. It's actually I just answered as well for the question from Sri Wahyuni. So yeah, the best area to invest is gonna be depends on the plans. Yeah, what you want to do with your business. If it's gonna be long term or short term rental. And here, the next question is from Expedition Bali Tours. Can I buy land under my PTPMA and then after sorry and after I put a dwelling on the land, can I move the property into individual owner? Give me a second. Okay, so yeah, you can definitely buy the land under the company, yeah, and then you can sell. You mean, can I move the property into individual owner? Do you plan to sell it? If you are planning to sell it, yeah, of course you can sell it. You can sell it after that. Okay, let's see the next question. After the next question is from Richard Hales. After the initial 30 years, is there a cost for 20 years extension? If so, how much? Okay, this is a very great question. So when it comes to right to use or right to build, there's gonna be a term of 30 years, 20 years, and 30 years. In total, it will be 80 years ownership, right? And since this is your property, okay, when you buy a freehold property, you own this property. So what you have to do, it's totally different than a lease extension. You don't have to pay the market price or whatever. What you have to do is only extend your certificate ownership. So you go to the government, pay administration. So you're not paying the value of the land again. Okay. So you pay the administration to the government. So the administration, how much it will be in the next 30 years, I cannot mention it right now because again, the government can change, right? The cost. But right now, if you do it right now, roughly it's about 100 square meter here in Bali. Okay, so example, I don't know where's your property, Richard. So if your property in Lombok, we have to check with the government in Lombok what will be the cost for the extension. But this extension, it's only administration, so it's not the same like you're purchasing the property again. It's not like the land value or anything. It will be very small small fee for administration. Okay, next question. It's okay. From Expedition Bali Tours again, is 30 years the minimum amount of time I'm speaking with landowner that will only go to 25 years? Is the owner supposed to be at minimum 30 years? I think you talk about leasehold here. So when you want to buy a leasehold property, actually the length of the lease, it's gonna be depends on the owner how long he or she willing to lease the land to you. So the common lease, it will be 25 to 30 years, but you cannot force. So it's always the decision by the owner. If the owner only wants to do it 25, then yeah, you're only gonna get 25. This is the lease hold. So there's no fixed regulation from the government when you buy a leasehold land. When you purchase a leasehold land, when you purchase a freehold property, when you purchase a freehold property and the title will be switched to the right to use or right to build, the land will be fixed 30, 25, 30, 20, and 30. But when it's come to leasehold, It really depends on the seller, on the landowner. I mean, okay. So next question. It's again from Expedition Bali Tours. Can my PTPMA buy 1,000 meters of land and then add another 1,000 meters later? Yes, it is possible. It is possible. You can buy because I don't know if it is okay. Sorry, can we go back to the next question from Expedition? Yeah, it is definitely possible. Because again, expedition, I don't know, are you going to lease or are you going to buy a freehold property? Because before your question was 25 years, 30 years, stuff like that the landowner agree or not. So yeah, it should not be a problem, especially if you lease. There's no limitation like how big the land that you can lease. It's gonna be depends on the owner. Everything, the decision will be on the owner, the landowner. Okay, next question. Okay, from Apurva Nakpal. Is there any firm update on the Jembrana dan Pasar Toll Road route location construction status? Okay, I'm specifically asking about it because until very recently, it is supposed to be operational by 2025. Okay, so my last update, actually, you can even find it on Google. So far, they already started the acquisition of the land for Jembrana site. For Tabanan, I believe it's already done, but for Jembrana, they're still on the process of acquisition land. Okay, so definitely the toll road is not built yet because they are on the process of acquisition land for Jembrana site. So because it's from Denpasar to Jembrana, so Denpasar they already done, Mengwi they already done, and then also already now it's in the stage for Jembrana acquisition land. Okay, if it's gonna be delivered in 1.5 years, sorry, if it's gonna be delivered, we don't know. We don't know. We just following the update from the government. It's always updated in Google. You can check it. Okay, next question. Okay, Apurva Nakpal again. Also, I'd like to get your view on Munduk versus Tiedemann as investment option. Future prospect, any specific government plan for this area? How are they evolving as tourist destination access, etc. Okay, it's very interesting area, Munduk and Tiedemann. I have this question already a couple of times from my client. It seems that Tiedemann and Munduk have some kind of interest from the client right now, from foreigner, yeah, to build property. And of course, the location it's kind of far, like about I think 2.5 hours from the airport. And this area is already developed. It has a very beautiful nature, and it's kind of close to, example, if you wanna go to the east of Bali or north to Bali, will be very easy access. The development already is good over there, and but there's example if you wanna build an accommodation in Tiedemann, it will be like a tropical concept. So that's kind of property that you're gonna do. And then in terms of tourist destination, again, this is the area where it's not so many competition in that area. I can say there's not so many accommodation available in terms of Tiedemann and Munduk area. So it will be a good prospect, yeah, because again, the tourism in Bali right now, especially if you already come a few times to Bali and you already know Canggu, Suminya, you already experienced all those areas where they have the crazy nightlife, right, and all the traffic jam. You want to stay away from it, right? And then this is when the time all the tourists gonna go to Munduk or Sidemen or Amen or other places in Bali. So definitely its future prospect will be great for business. And in terms of specific government plan for this area, I couldn't say right now. I really cannot say anything because the government plan right now more into direction Jembrana instead of Sidaman. That's so far the development, okay? Because they're building the highway, right, from Denpasar to Gilimanuk. So the government right now focusing on the west part of Bali instead of east. But it doesn't mean that east side of Bali is not good prospect for future business. It's still because again, as long as it's in Bali, people gonna look your property, and if you have a special, because I know some property in we have even some client have a property in Sidaman area, and they're being rented out very good, and the rental rate over there is kind of high because they don't have competition. They're selling a high end property over there, a tropical concept with bamboo and everything, but it's very high end and with a good service, yeah, high end services as well. So they're renting it out like roughly the rental rate about 1 million to 2 million a night, rupiah. Okay, 1 million, 2 million rupiah a night. So about $100, $150 a night. So yeah, it's definitely a good prospect to look at. Okay, next question. Okay, so next question from Expedition Bali Tours. Isn't the government moving to Kalimantan? Wouldn't this mean that Jakarta will drop off? This is something that a lot of people discuss as well because the government gonna move next year, yeah, to Balikpapan, yeah, to Kalimantan, Borneo. But in terms of Jakarta will drop off, we're not sure yet because moving capital, yeah, moving all the government offices takes time. So we just have to see it, okay? Right now, we cannot say anything because of moving everything, like moving from Jakarta to Kalimantan will take time. Even if you want to move your business, I will suggest wait. Don't do it right away. Just wait until the capital already moved to Balikpapan and see what will be the next new regulation from the government because the government can change, update the regulation anytime after they move the government. Yeah. Okay, next question. Oh, we actually already 1 hour. I didn't realize that it's already passed, but I'm gonna answer one last more question from Apurva Nakpal before I end this webinar. So the last question. Oh, okay. What did you say is the current cost of HGB extension after initial 30 years? Okay, Apurva Nakpal, please understand this is the cost for current, okay, current situation. So doesn't mean in the next 30 years it will be the same cost in Bali, okay? This is for 2 days. So means you already purchased your property 3 years ago, okay? So right now the cost is roughly about 1 million per 100 square meter for the administration for the extension of your certificate. Okay, so when you want to buy your property now, the extension will be 30 years later. Then we have to check in the next 30 years what will be the cost. Okay, so yeah. So that's the last question that I'm going to answer. Thank you so much for everyone who attended the webinar today. I really appreciate that everyone stay here and watching me until the end and giving me all these great questions. And Emerhub would love to hear your feedback as well from this webinar. You can share your comments and you can reach us directly. If you need any assistance from Emerhub, please feel free to contact us. You can connect with our social media or directly contact us on our website. And also, we have a new website specifically we dedicated to give you information about all our list, property list, which is it's on property.emerhub.com. Please check that if you're looking for any property right now in Bali, or even not only in Bali, because we are going to list also some property in Lombok and other area as well. So yeah, please check our website and let us know if you're interested any listed property on that website. Contact us, and we're happy to assist you. So thank you so much for today. Have a great day, everyone.